focusing on yours.
Thank you.
You just pick it up.
Focusing on yours.
Thank you.
Are we all here?
We're waiting on Olivia. Is your team all here?
Yes.
Okay, do we want to go ahead and get started? And we do have this streaming to YouTube, so it is available to any of your members to watch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything special you got? I sent you the signed ground rules. Did you get that? Okay.
I do have that. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we're all set there. So how do you want this to go? Do you want us to present our proposals and then you'll present yours and
Sure, we can
see
do
where
it
we
that
go
way.
from there? I'm just thinking, yeah.
Yep.
All right. I can send you a copy of them if you want to read down with me, or do you want me to just read them and then what's best?
If you want to send it ahead, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Toby, do you want to do that? You want me to do it since I know more people? I could just forward on your last email.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier if you sent what I sent you. We can also screen share it as we go through it too.
Okay.
Really?
Well, I can.
Okay. Okay. Well, if we're going to go through it, then we either need to screen share it, send it, or both. So.
We'll need a copy either way.
Okay.
Can the host enable me to be able to do screen sharing, please?
Carly, do you want me to do that?
Yes, please.
Actually, I can't do it on my end. You'll have to
I
do it.
just did it.
Thank you.
Who am I missing?
All right, there you go.
I think, is that everyone? Carly, Jennifer. Yes, I'm talking to myself here. So. Just wanted to make sure I got everybody. Carly, Jennifer, Ryan, Vince, I sent. Okay, I'll push send and we'll be good. I can't though now because I'm stuck here. Okay. So you can see it on the screen here and then I'll push send when we get out of this. These are our initial bargaining proposals. Raise the starting base wage to $15 an hour and adjust up the classified salary schedule. Keep our current steps awarded annually. 6% COLA raise to all employees effective 7/1 of 21. Change full-time eligibility for full insurance benefits to 6.5 hours a day. And it's our recommendation that we shift the coaches' pay discussion to JLMC and form a small subgroup to include with the CEA. And then I'll let Hobie do these last three.
It's my hope we never need this language below, but I got a feeling we're going to be seeing pandemics in the future. So we've taken the language you guys had, modified it slightly to to be for any pandemic issues. It has to be a pandemic as declared by the CDC or OHA. We're not talking about the sniffles here. We're talking about something that's gripping the country and the world. You can all read the language. It's pretty similar to what you have. But we'd like to adapt that into the contract to hopefully we never need it, but if we do, it's there. Down below, as we talked about the PERS redirect, we've come up with these numbers to put into, depending on whether you're 2.5% or you're a 0.75% person, to put into a 403B to help offset some of the cost of that. And then the House Bill 2016 language, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and pull that up separate. As Jennifer's had a sneak peek at it, she knows it's a bit considerable. We've been able to, I'm sharing language to you that we bargained in Silver Falls over the period of about 4 months. It's pretty well kind of cut to the bone where we can do it stay within the law, what the law recommends. But I will share that with you now, adding it into our Article 4. As you can see here, we're just inserting it under Article 4. All this stays the same. The things that are crossed out here are in the language below. That's why they're crossed out. And with the exception of this one. So I kept this one, renamed it 4.3. And starting at 4.4, all the bolded is the House Bill 2016 language. Like I said, cut pretty much as close to the quick as we can get and stay within the law. And there's some really interesting video on this if you're curious about what anything means here. But rather than read it all to you, I mean, a lot of it's restating of the law. We will just provide it to you so you can look at it in your caucus and see what you think about it. But this is what Nancy Hungerford and I came up with up in Silver Falls. Like I said, from about May to about, just before about mid-August, her and I largely worked on this to make sure it stayed within we bargained over the things we could bargain, and the other things just got put in that were in the law. But it goes on for a minute here. So I believe you have that too. You can forward
I do.
as well.
Also.
Okay, so we'll have that forwarded to you. Largely, we're trying to do is stay within the rails of the law and make sure that it's all clearly laid out, so there's no miscommunications or misunderstandings. And that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, that's the exact language with one section that was taken out because of specific to Silver Falls. But other than that, that's the exact language that Nancy Hungerford and I came up with in Silver Falls. So, and there is video recording if you want to go back and watch those sessions and see what we're talking about. I hope you have that kind of time. So with that, you have our proposals. Is there questions before we move on to your guys' proposals?
Not at the moment, Mary. I don't have that documentation yet.
I sent the first one. Did you get that?
No.
Okay, I sent it to all of you, and then I'm sending the other one now.
The gremlins are at work.
I know. Usually they go pretty quickly without much delay, but.
Looks like the first one just came through.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so then the other one's going to be coming now. Typing it in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I just don't know as much about the conversation that's happened regarding Article 4. What I understand oftentimes is that language that is legislative doesn't necessarily need to be added to contracts because we have to follow the law. So help me to understand, or can you bring me up to speed as to why we'd add all that language if it's the law?
So we're not adding all the language, or it'd be like 25 pages or whatever the heck that bill is, right? This is essentially a summary of the law. Why we're adding it in the actual body of the law, it says that we need to bargain this. So I think anybody reasonable would say, well, wait a minute, if it's saying we have to bargain, we have to put something in the contract, right? We've tried to boil it down so that it isn't 20 pages or 25 pages or whatever that law is, to key categories. This is the information that, like I said, I spent, I guess it was about 3 months, a little more than 3 months bargaining in Silver Falls with Nancy Hungerford. And you got to believe that she wouldn't be including it in the contract if she didn't think that we needed to. But I've heard that argument though, that we just follow the law. The problem is that you've got so many situations. Like, let's say your next president is, an EA. Do they just leave the room whenever they need to take care of union business? Well, logic would say no, especially if they're working with a child, right? You've got all those kinds of situations. Like, what do we do? It says between 30 and 120 minutes for our meetings. Now, they left that purposely like that so that we could, pick something that works for us. And in this language, it's more situational. If you're doing a one-on-one, why would that need to be 120 minutes, right? If you're doing a group meeting, maybe you need an hour, for the whole group there's a lot of questions, right? So that's kind of what some of this language is attempting to do, is to take the language that's very, very broad and narrow it down a bit to situations that work for your district, that make sense for your district, that don't, leave things so wide open that we're fighting 2 months later over whether somebody can do something or not, right? Just having a rule book, a plan, for a plan for people to follow. That's essentially the idea behind this. And like I said, I don't think Nancy Hungerford, I don't know if you know the lady, but she's pretty knowledgeable. I don't think she would have taken the time to spend all that time bargaining with me. At one point, they put me and Nancy in a room by ourselves to bargain and stuff. So because the rest of the group got tired of hearing about it. But I don't think that would have happened if she didn't think that it needed to be in the contract. And it does actually say in the body of the law that we need to bargain it. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, thanks.
But for clarification, Hobie bargaining simply means talking about it. It doesn't require actual language to be in, so.
Well, we got a unfair labor practice going up on a district on that exact thing. So I guess we'll find out.
So we're gonna go, Mary, I got both documents. We're gonna go.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Oh, Olivia, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. Is the 6% COLA after the change to $15 an hour?
At this moment, yes.
So change the lowest step to $15 an hour, and then a 6% COLA on top of that?
It could be one way or the other. I mean, we're bargaining, so this is just some
I just want
starting
to make
points.
sure I'm understanding this
Uh-huh.
properly.
I would set it up each as individually and then go from there. Like set it up one with a 6% COLA and one with starting at 15. The documents you sent us, we weren't able to work within them. They weren't workable spreadsheets, so we couldn't figure this all out, going across.
So to change the starting base wage to
Mhm.
$15 an hour and then apply the same, proportionate changes
Right, and do
across
the
the
steps.
schedule.
Uh-huh.
So that's basically the same as a COLA of 16.73%. So I'm not sure if I should be costing this as a 16.73% COLA or adding another 6% after that.
Hobie, I think I'm reading it the
I think
individual
Mary
way. Mhm.
Yeah, I think Mary just said if you costed it both ways, it would be helpful for the negotiations.
Mhm.
So you want me to cost a COLA of 22.73% and them cost them separately as well?
If you want to cost them, yeah, I think that's what I heard her say, is that what would 6% be? What would just raising it to 15 be?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. I don't believe we intended the both to be on top of each other. It would
Right.
just be that we would definitely include steps.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, I guess we're ready for your proposal then.
So our proposal is a 1% salary increase.
Okay.
Looking at some of our ranges, recognizing we also are working with minimum wage continuing to increase, we're proposing that we adjust positions that are in range 4 to shift to range 5, then those that are in range 5 to shift to range 6, And then there are a couple positions, our maintenance 1 and lead maintenance, to shift. Maintenance 1 is in range 7 and to move that to range 8. And then the lead maintenance position is in range 8 and move that to range 9. And then the other thing is we have a shift differential. Currently that's 35 cents, an additional 35 cents an hour, and shift that to actually be 50 cents an hour. That's assuming, again, the annual step increases. The current insurance contribution is the same. So these are the increases that we're proposing. And Mary, I can send this to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
I don't have any. Anybody else?
I have a clarifying just to ask and maybe just to get it stated out loud. So knowing last year we shifted a couple of jobs to new spots on the range, we seem to be seeing a trend of compressing the jobs into new categories without quite the delineation. So you're looking at only moving those jobs, but not adjusting the other jobs that were above them in pay at a continued scale. I'm not sure if I'm asking that clearly enough.
Yeah.
You're only looking to move those jobs into a new range, but not bump the other jobs up as well, correct?
Right, we're looking at positions that not many people necessarily want to do and trying to adjust accordingly based on the salary. So yes, there are our range 4 and 5 are our food service positions, and then our maintenance positions, looking at the need to make a shift there.
Okay.
Shall we caucus and then Mary and Jennifer can text back and forth when we're done caucusing and kind of come back together and figure out what we want to do next?
Yeah, let's do a tentative time though, so we kind of know what we're working with. Do we want to start with 20 minutes, 30 minutes? What makes sense based on what you all need?
I don't know, I think I'm fine with 20 minutes is fine for me. If that's all right for you, or you want 30 minutes, whatever.
We
Before-
can start at 20 and then do a check.
Okay, that sounds good.
on how much time both teams may need.
Okay. All right. So I'll just have my phone here and I'll watch for text. Okay.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Alrighty.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. See you in a bit.
Yep.
See you soon.
Do we have everybody back?
All of ours are here.
I can't see Joanne. Is that,
Let me see.
You know, I'm not sure why. I'm playing with my settings. Why
That's
you
okay.
can't see me.
I just wanted to make sure you were there. Okay, so thanks for giving us some additional time. We use that to try to calculate out your proposal.
Okay.
And so appreciation to Olivia for working on that and doing it as quickly as she can to get it as close as possible to what those percentages and numbers represent. So
Okay.
I'm going to just share them back with you, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about our proposal. Okay. And then I have like a clarifier for you too around the PERS bit. So I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So basically, if $15 is the starting point, and then that's applied across the current structure, the cost associated with that is $2.4 million. The next number, if we looked at that 6% COLA, that number without and counting for that 15% beginning point is $1.1 million. So if in the proposal that was a combination of the two, and I also heard you say you were looking for the numbers on both, but combined that's 3.5 million is what that proposal costs out to. And then the change in insurance for that 6.5 hour change for those members, it is an increase of 205,000. So basically the proposal without the PERS piece is at $3.7 million. And so then just to talk a little bit about where our number is at. So with the 1%, we're including the steps. So the steps for this year are included in that proposal. And with 1%, we're at 446,000. And then the adjustment of those positions, those steps 4 and 9, is an additional 75,000. So our proposal is at 525,000.
Ryan, was the 1% added after the steps?
Yes, it was the combination of the two.
Okay. And what did the 6 bringing it down to 6.5? How did you get the 205,000? What was that cost? Since you already put the money in already.
The insurance change?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Where did the 205,000? Where's that? I mean, what is the cost that is being incurred? I mean, you already put so much per employee in anyway, correct? I'm trying to figure out where the 205 came from or how you figured it. Just maybe Olivia could tell me.
The current contract language states that anyone that's 7 hours or more receives the contribution of a full-time employee. So if it's changed to 6.5 hours, then the district contribution for a handful of people would increase. And that's the difference in the increase in the contribution the district would make on behalf of those folks.
Monthly increase.
Yep.
Okay.
For a composite or a total of 205.
A total of 205. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the million, the other part, did that include other? I mean, is that just looking at the numbers in the spreadsheet? I mean, did you just put that number in and go through, or does that cost include anything else? The 2.4.
That's the full cost. So when payroll costs increase, we attach the associated costs with FICA, Medicare, PERS, IAP, PERS UAL, all of that. So that's
Okay.
the full cost.
That's the full cost. Okay. What employees numbers did you use, or what did you use for employee and employee positions as of a certain day, or did you just, I mean, what did you use?
I used our proposed staffing for next year as of today.
Okay.
Based on our working proposed budget. It's not finalized yet, but it's pretty close.
Okay, thank you.
So then the other question was about the PERS piece. And so we wanted some clarification around that, because with our understanding with the PERS is that there is a basically a point in time, or a monthly financial that moves you into the category of what changed to PERS. So as we think about it, that means that not all of your members would be receiving that. And so our question was more about, is it trying to fill that gap, or is it trying to address retirement for all members? And is that something that would be better suited with a 403B? And so it's not necessarily, we don't have an answer. It's more of a question about understanding that piece.
Yeah. So if you read the proposals for the people that are directly affected, and you're right, you have to be over 2,500 a month, I think, or 30,000 a year, I think is anybody that falls below that is not affected by the PERS redirect until they increase above those totals. So the proposals it stands is just the people that are affected. There's two groups. One group's at 2.5% redirect, the other was at 0.75 a redirect. So that's the two groups we're talking about.
Okay.
And that's what those proposals are seeking to help with.
Okay. And thanks for clarifying that. So then the last thing is trying to figure out, so we have a board meeting in May and we have one in June, and recognizing sort of the goal of getting this settled sooner rather than later. So that way you can, I can't remember how many days do you need? Was it like 10 days you needed or something like that in your 15. And so really we have to have some sort of agreement by the middle of May if we're going to get that to members by July 1. And so we are a long ways apart, right? I know these are initial proposals, but if you think about basically 525,000 and you think about what is that, 3.7 million, that's a significant gap difference. And so we're just trying to think through how to get to an agreement in a quick timeline, recognizing that we're a long ways apart. So I don't have an answer for that, other than it's definitely a quandary and trying to figure out how we're going to get there in the next couple of weeks. So we're not coming back with the counter at this point or anything like that, because it really took us all the time to cost it out. But it is something that feels a little overwhelming in terms of how far apart we are. So that's just for what it's worth. And we're at 4, so I don't know if for now it makes sense for us to go ahead and just kind of break up and plan on being together again next Monday for our next meeting.
Well, I would say that I think we have some additional information to share with the district before we do that. But I think probably likely we will both need time to come back and figure out what we're going to do for the next go round proposal wise. But we do have more information we want to share with that, and I'll turn it over to Mary with that.
Okay. Yeah, we've been looking at, I mean, I didn't just think a lot that it came out from the blue. We've been doing our homework, and Marcy has some stuff she and Isaac and all of us have put together. So I'd like for her to present that for us. If that's
okay.
Hi, everybody.
I'm sorry, maybe should have let you do that before I did my bit, but I didn't realize. So
I'm sorry. I should have let you know. I didn't even think I was.
that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay, Ray. I'll just share.
Okay.
So speaking on behalf of our bargaining team, so even if I inadvertently used the word I, this is a we conversation, a we gathering of data. Specifically around cost of living, we want to have it, on record and recognize that the cost of living increase in Corvallis for the year 2020 was 3.9%. When we're looking at where we're at right now, a family income of $48,680 is needed to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in Corvallis. So an individual earning a minimum wage, which is $12.75 as of July 1st, would need to work a total of 84.5 hours a week year round to afford that 2-bedroom unit. That same thing, a family income of $69,680 is needed to afford a 3-bedroom apartment in Corvallis. And an individual earning minimum wage would need to work a total of 121 hours per week to afford that. Minimum wage is not a living wage, and we need to do better, far better. When we also wanted to talk to you guys this time about comparable pay for employment requirements. Corvallis 509J, we require many education-focused classified employees to have at least 2 years of college. And for the sake of argument, we're going to call that equivalent to an associate's degree. A college education has historically been an investment that somebody makes in themselves that correlates to increased pay in the market. And that is not what's happening within our school district. Additionally, classified staff are not allowed to have any felony convictions, and most non-felony convictions would also bar them from employment. So keeping that in mind, that we want most of our classified staff to have 2 years of college and a clean record. Our district requires that. Let's think about what the comparable pay is for these educational levels in the immediate community around us. And we're going to talk about Corvallis. The average pay in Corvallis overall, mixed together, regardless of educational level, college, no college, all of it mixed together, is $17.45 an hour for the average. If you use our EA2 staff at a range 9 for comparison, they make $1.47 less under the general pay per hour. But let's talk about with college. The average pay for an individual with 2 years of college, the equivalent of associate's degree at Corvallis, is $20.20 an hour. Using those same EA2 staff at range 9 for comparison, they are making $4.22 under the average pay for that educational level, an educational level that they put money and time into achieving. If you look at specific businesses in the area right now that are looking for employees, I did my search around employers that do not require any college education at all. These are jobs that are open to people with high school diplomas or not even high school diplomas and no experience required. Cleanup crew for local roofing company is starting at $16 an hour. Burger King currently is paying $12.50 an hour. They're recognizing that that is not competitive, and starting in July, they're raising their starting wage to $14 an hour. McDonald's in response has done the same and has immediately right now just raised their starting wage to $14 an hour. The city of Jefferson, for their public works, just posted a entry-level, no education required job for $19.50 an hour. GAPS is paying their custodians $16.04 an hour, which is more than we are. GAPS bus drivers are being paid $16.78 an hour. They do not have to have their training or their CDL. They're being paid to get it. STA is also paying high. There's more. There's construction workers right now. They're getting, if they have 0 experience, they're starting at 15. If they have even minimal experience, they're starting at 25 hours. Sweetwater's restaurant in in Albany is starting at $15 an hour, no experience. Target Distribution is starting at $16.50 an hour. Benton County Client Service reps are starting at $16.62 to work with individuals with disabilities. Just in looking at those employers I'm talking about, why don't you take a note on the proposal you just gave us around moving the food service workers from range 4 to range 5. This would take them from $12.85 to $13.42. And this is still below what McDonald's and Burger King are now paying their non-experienced workers. And for the maintenance one workers from range 7 at 1463 to range 8 at 1528, this is still below what GAPS has listed they're paying their starting custodians at 1604. This makes it really clear that we need to rethink the starting wage for our classified staff so we remain competitive to get the caliber of employees we should have working around our students, because our students deserve to have that quality of employees. Okay, Hobie. your
Okay.
turn.
Thank you, Marcy.
So I guess just to kind of summarize that all up, there's every job varies a little, I mean, there's better benefits with one and lesser benefits with others. Sure, we know that. But we're getting into a situation where, we're not competing with other schools. We're competing with Burger King. We're competing with groups down the road, that are offering benefits with that wage, and a lot of younger people, aren't going to be looking at some of the stuff that we have in our contract. And so it makes it real tough for the level of experience and also just for the level of responsibility. You screw up with a cheeseburger, you move on with your life. You screw up with a kid, it could be forever, right? So there's just a lot of pressure on the different districts. And I'm seeing people in other districts especially leave to take these other jobs that aren't really related to anything they went to school for, because they can get more money and benefits, and full time in most cases. So this feeds into what we're proposing. It isn't just pie in the sky, grab a number and go with it. There's a lot of competition out there, and I think we'll just leave it there for now. But I definitely would be remiss if I didn't point out that your city ordinance I think says that everybody should be making 1381, and we're not even doing that. So there's recognition out there that there's a lot that needs to be done. And I'm hoping that when you take away from this process is that we're trying to figure out what that is. We have one set of ideas, but we're here to bargain, we're here to listen, and we're here to try to figure out a way to meet in the middle so we don't have such a big gulf to go between. And with that, I'll turn it back to Mary.
Okay, I guess that was a lot. Unless you have anything else, Ryan, or
I actually would just like to
Jennifer?
clarify a few things. Yeah. So Marcy, thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you did quite a bit of research. A couple of things I would want to have noted though, is you can't just take an hourly wage and only look at that. It's not truly comparing apples to apples. When we look at districts, things we have to look at is, are they paying PERS? So for example, in Albany, doesn't necessarily pay PERS for all their employees, the 6% on top of it. So their wage may look higher, and then the employee itself is paying the 6%. So what they actually are bringing home is a little bit different. So I want that noted, because I recognize that when we're just looking at certain pieces, we don't have the full picture. I also know many people come to the school district because they want to work during the schedule that is for their kids. They like having some of that time off. So that's a benefit. Our insurance benefits for our employees who do not work year-round, they receive insurance benefits year-round. So there are many other components that we have to calculate and that are an expense as well to the district. So as much as we would love to be able to pay employees lots and lots, we do believe we're paying them with a full benefit package that is considered. Also, we have to, when we look at these costs, we also recognize, we showed you last time we met, what our budget looks like with the expenses, that we are overspending. And so then we start looking at, we have to start cutting positions. And that's the unfortunate thing. We have incredible people working here in our district. And so, we're not wanting to look at setting ourselves up from a standpoint of now having to cut individual positions either. So we need to make sure we have a sustainable budget and want to be able to support our employees that are doing the good work with kids.
Yeah, and we understand that. We're not, I alluded to the fact that they're not apples to apples in every case. But I was really surprised at the amount of places that do offer benefits and a full-time wage to offset the difference of the cost of the benefits we get versus what they would make working full-time. So there's other comparisons, right? You're right. Nothing's going to be 100% perfect. I agree with that. And I understand, that you got to have a budget and you got to go forward and you got to do things, and sometimes those things include, cutting back positions, with the amount of vacancies you have, I feel like that would be a minor hit for us at this point, but it's definitely something we would have to look at. I think that's right. So I don't want to think that's falling in deaf ears. We are considering those things as well.
All right, so we're scheduled to meet again. Is it next Monday at the same time? Is that right?
I believe
May
so,
3rd.
yes.
I'm just making sure on my,
Mhm.
okay.
May 3rd.
All right. Well, we will see you all again on May 3rd.
Okay.